Exclamation, everybody, and welcome to Glitchspace. So, this is early access, very early alpha game. It's a kind of a combination of Portal and spatial puzzles and some programming, sort of. We're going to get into that. There's a lot to cover here, so I'm going to try not to dally too much. We can move around WASD, all this stuff. So while we walk, let's talk a little bit. So this is a puzzle, platforming, puzzle solving game where you need to basically use a form of programming, visual programming, in order to manipulate the space around you and to get to progress further on in the levels. And we'll show that in a little bit here. I'm trying to get as far along this as I can, as quickly as I can. So to show you the game starts to pick up quite a bit. It has a rather lengthy, well, not lengthy, but a rather in-depth tutorial, sort of, that comes along. That's like very, very, slowly shows you the controls. Like here you can see this right here. It looks like nothing, but once I drag that over, you can see that it's kind of just introducing me to all the different components or different ways that I'm going to be using the game here. So it is similar in vein to some of the other programming games that I've played on Steam, like TIS 100 and also Human Resource Machine. And I'm going to be using those games sort of to compare and contrast with this game as it stands right now in the alpha. It's telling me to close that window. Very good. And this is our box. This block allows me to manipulate certain areas of the world. The areas will show up in red, the cubes and cuboid shapes that we can manipulate. This is obviously showing me that we need to find our goals there. And you right click to manipulate things, as it says right here. Your box that you're holding also turns red when you interact with something. So we'll right click, and this brings up the programming interface. You can see right now it's got some things filled out. As you go along, it will fill things out, and then at certain points along the way, it'll just give you a blank grid to do things in. For right now, I'll still try and teach you the basics. So you got this cuboid, it translates, and that translation, which it's not showing you down here, and you eventually can scroll this. Right now you can't scroll, but what it's not showing you is that you did a transform and a translate. This over here is what direction you're facing, so you can always see which Y, where's the positive Y, where the positive X is, and where positive Z is, which you'll need a little bit later on. So that gets us through the first challenge here, and then we jump here. Now you can see there's all this stuff running across here, so if I try to run through that, you see it's like, nope, you can't do that. Right? It reset me. Basically, you die. That was the die. It was like you glitch and it sends you back to where you were. So we need to get past this. In order to do that, we got to move this guy over here to stop these shards from going across here. So we'll do that, and you see we've got the main cuboid, and we're translating it. And then we've got this down here, which is introducing us the transform. You see we said transform along the X vector, which is this vector here. You can kind of see it's off the screen a little bit. And we said translate that, and then that moved that wall that was there over to here, so it's blocking those shards from coming through, and now we can walk through without getting killed. So it's very slowly introducing some of the mechanics. When I first walked through here, I didn't understand what the heck was going on. These shards are not immediately obvious as to what's going on. You kind of know you have to interact with things, but you don't know why yet. Now that I've played a little bit more of the game, it kind of makes sense now, but at first it was still very obtuse as to what's going on. So I right click on this, and we say, now it's showing me that you can zoom in and out and move things around with the mouse and all that stuff. So we've got a cuboid, we're going to translate it, we're going to transform it along the y-axis, which is this one going up and down, and we've got some other thing that we haven't introduced yet, so we're going to drag this over, and we're going to say numbers, so by 20. So we translated it along y 20 pixels, or 20 coordinates anyway, and there it goes up there, blocking that off and allowing us to walk forward. So it's very slowly introducing all the things that you're going to need, and it does hold your hand quite nicely, so that's always good to see, because it is, at first blush, very difficult to kind of understand, especially for me, being a programmer myself. I'm used to just typing things in, so whenever I start a game like this that has the visual programming paradigm, it takes me a little bit to try to figure out what I'm looking at sometimes and figure out how they've abstracted things out. So for others who don't, who don't have that programming experience, it's probably not that bad. So now it's telling me, all right, we need to untranslate this thing along Y, so we're going to cut this number off there, and as you can see, it goes back to its normal spots. Here we go. It's down here, and then what we need to do is to get it to come back up that way. So we're going to go and reattach this to that, and now you see we've moved back up because it pushed us up, and now we're able to move on. So if there's some things some feedback I would have as we're going along here, I'm not a big fan of the grid-based thing that they've got here. So first of all, it's showing you all the things now, which is good. This is, again, still in the tutorial area. So we'll have a cuboid we're going to translate. We're going to translate it along the Z, which brings it towards us. As you can see, positive Z. Negative Z goes away from us. And we're going to translate it by 50. And that, in turn, has brought that cube over to us, as well as the thing it was attached to, namely the stairs. So now we're able to continue on. So we're kind of getting the idea of it. I am not a huge fan of the grid-based programming that they're doing. Where is the thing at for this? I'll get over there. No. This is weird. I feel like I missed something. Did I miss something along the way here? No, I came up this way. What am I missing? Oh, I gotta go down this way. I'm going up there. Like that's not the way to go. So another thing I'd like to note, I get the aesthetic. I get the aesthetic of the game. It's all this kind of the colors and stuff. Later on, I'm hoping to get to this point, but later on, there is you very easily get lost and you don't know where to go next. There's no like visual cues like, hey, go up here. There's nothing that really stands out sometimes. And I think that's something they're going to have to work on, is like being able to give you, even if it's just an arrow saying, go up this way, dummy, something that would allow you to know that, yes, this is the way you got to go, and kind of make it stand out a little bit better. But anyway, we're going to come over here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to jump up on top of this, I think. I'm going to try to anyway, without falling down, which is a lot harder than you might think. Your character moves kind of weird sometimes. Alright, so we're on this thing, so what we want to do is translate this up probably in the Y. So what we can do is, okay, and this is explaining that we can translate this. You can translate something, you can use a number and just go like this, and it will apply to all of the, you can grab it like this and it will apply to all the various vectors here. So we just translated it by 10 in the X, Y, and Z vector, which then moved us around such a way that we're now in line with this, with the stairs here. That won't come into use for probably the rest of my time in this demo, but it was there. It'll be there. It's just, again, introducing something. I feel like that kind of introduced it out of order, because like I said, you're not going to use that for quite some time, or at least I haven't used it for quite some time later on. But it is trying to introduce you to some of the basic concepts, and they might not have had another place that they could have put that in. So that's the way we're going with that. So yeah, when I look at this and I look at the way that you have things programming on here, what is this telling me to do? Oh, right click that to remove it. Okay, so now it's back down here on top of me, and then we want to get it back up to there. So if we right click on this again and we say left click for add, and it gives us numbers, and we'll say 20, I guess, and just go like so and do that. That is kind of put me away from it. But let's see if I can... Nope, can't jump over there. Can't jump over there like that. What we can do is put 10 back on there. I think maybe if I... Or... Well, I guess we'll put 20, and we'll put just on the Y axis, perhaps. Yeah, well, actually, we should do 20. Let's do 20 Y and Z. There we go. Like that. And now we can just step on off. There we go. Alright. So you can kind of see where the puzzles come in. And it's sort of like Portal in that it's got like spatial puzzles in that regard, but the comparison sort of ends there. It's mostly, you know, whereas Portal you were trying to do, trying to get through all the, trying to get your character to certain areas so that you can manipulate the environment. And here it's more, you're just trying to get to the end of the course. And you see we got some interesting things around there. But yeah, the way that they're handling the programming interface, I'm not a big fan of it. I feel like, and you gotta watch out for this destroys things. I feel like when I look at this and I compare it to, say, TIS 100, or I compare it to, particularly to Human Resource Machine, the nice thing about Human Resource Machine was that the interface kind of got out of your way. In this one, when I right-click on something, I guess I gotta come up here to do this. When I right-click on something, the interface takes up my entire view, and later on you'll see, if I get to that point, some of these things are timed. Like you'll be standing on a platform that's moving, and you gotta go fairly quickly to get past it. Now, if you die, everything that you did on the screen stays there, so it's not that big of a setback, but I can see that being really annoying, and I don't like how it takes up the whole screen like this. I feel like this interface could just take up the side here, like the right-hand side, like it does in, say, Human Resource Machine, and that having graphs like this is unnecessarily, I don't know, it feels a little bit overblown. Like I feel like when I right-click on something, you'll see in a little bit, sometimes this grid will come up and there'll be nothing on it, and you have to like hit add, and you have to say, I want a cuboid for this and all that stuff. And I'm like, I feel like, really, if I right-click on something, this should automatically fill out all the time, right? Because the thing knows what it is. And I feel like that should just pop over into like a dock over here. Like there should just be a docked area. It's like, here's the thing you just interacted with, and then here's all the properties that you can manipulate. Or here's the thing you interacted with, and then you right-click on it, you say add, and then you add properties to it to do it in whatever sequence you're going to do it in. Because you will see later on, you will have to do several things to manipulate the object several different ways in order to get things going. In fact, this might be one of those. So if I go here and I say, I want vectors, and I want along X. Okay, this only gave me one. So we want to translate this, or transform this along the X. It's already translating it. But we want to transform it along the X. And we want to do a number here, so we'll say, because positive X is coming towards us, so we'll just say 50, why not, and see what that does for us. There we go. Alright, and that brought it all the way up to where we need to be. So, that is, again, I feel like that would be better off in the right hand side, because then it doesn't take up your whole view. You don't have to constantly click X to get out of it. You can just kind of just walk away from it, and it's no longer relevant, but it's still, you know, it's still out of your path, and it's not taking up your whole view, and it's not something that right now it feels very heavy-handed, the interface. You know what I mean? It just feels like it's just too in your face. So like I said right here, I gotta say objects. I don't know why I right-clicked on this object. The object should know what it is. I have to right-click on it to say cuboid. I have to say translate. And then I have to say vectors along Y, right? Because it's only giving me access right now to the things I actually need. Later on, you'll have access to everything. And then you have to decide which one you want. So we'll say along Y, and then we'll say numbers, and we'll say 20 should be good enough. Do that, and that gets it out of our way. And then we can walk along. And then we've got some more of this here that we need to block. So we'll right-click on this. You see, it already knows what it is, but then we gotta come over here. We gotta say transform, translate. There'll be different transforms. Translation is just one of those. These are actually technical terms too. These are like three-dimensional space terms that you actually use when you're writing engine code and stuff, like translate and transform and vectors and all that stuff. So that's all true to life and accurate. It's just the grid and stuff. Obviously you don't do something like this. You actually type it out when you want that stuff. But transform, oh, I did that already. Vectors, we want along the Z, positive Z, because that's moving away from us. This little cube over here helps you to know which way you're facing. It turns with you so you can see where you're going. So we want along Z. Negative Z is coming towards us. Positive Z is going away. So we'll do that, and we'll say this, and then we'll put a number in there, and we'll just take a stab at it and say 10. I don't know if that's accurate or not. Nope, that was too much. All right, so we'll say numbers, and we'll say 5. See what that does. There we go. That should block it quite nicely, and it does. All right, and now I should be able to just run and jump over this. Well, there is no run, but jump over that, and that gets us moving along. I'm trying the best I can to talk about the game and run through it as quickly as I can, because it does start to open up. You start to see what's in store for you a little bit later here. In fact, once I go through this portal here, you'll start to see it. Now you see here, it gives me the empty grid here, and I got to fill in all the stuff myself. This, again, I feel like is kind of a waste, because I right-clicked on that thing. It should know what it is. I shouldn't have to tell it what it is. But objects main, it's cuboid. We'll say transform, translate. Then we need a vector, and we'll say it's got to go along the Z to come towards us. And it's also got to go... No, I think along Z will be enough. And then numbers, we'll say 50. That sounds about right. All right, and then we gotta drag and drop all these things. Now, it's nice that they have the geometry here, so you can see which ones fit into which. But again, you know, I feel like this would be better served by just having that on the side and just say, I want to add this, I want to add that, I want to add this, I want to add that. The way Human Resource Machine did the programming stuff, I think was rather fantastic. So I am naturally going to hold that up in high esteem, because I think it really did well as far as being able to visually show you what's going on and in what sequence it's going on in. Alright, so now we're going to introduce a new concept to us. You can see here, when stuff passes through that barrier there, it becomes solid, and it will push us along if we're not careful. So what I want to do is to... Now I could just right click on this and say stuff, but it doesn't give me anything yet. It's just kind of cluing me in that there's something different here. So what I need to do is time this, and now we can go like, or we can fall down there and wait. There we go, up here, and now this doesn't hurt us, it just passes right through us. Alright, so it's kind of just showing you how that works. That over there I can manipulate if I want to, but instead we're going to go up here and continue on like so. Alright, now we got to do something. Now you can see this one is translucent, so that means we're probably going to fall through it if I walk over it, which I don't want to do. So what we can do is right click on it, and now it's going to introduce us a new property. If I drag this over here, you see Boolean logic, and then we can say this objects main cuboid, and then we'll drag that over here, and it's introduced use collisions, which is a property of that guy, and it says yes, please collide. This is physics. This is a physics object now. So yes, collisions is true, which means I should now be able to walk over this without falling through the world. It's like clipping versus no clipping. That's the way that goes. And then of course up here, we do the opposite and we say, no, we don't want this to be true. We want that to be false, so that I can now pass through this. And then we want to do the opposite here. Again, it's really driving home what this means and how it works, so you can see it. There you go. All right, and like I said, that kind of tutorial is very good. It might seem like it's pulling teeth sometimes, and I like how my guy just kind of slides down the down the steps instead of standing on them. But it's really, for people that don't understand or have never programmed before, I can imagine that it works out quite well for helping to introduce them to what's going on. Now these are coming through solid, and so what we want to do is right click on this guy, and we want to put a physics, we want to make it a physics object, and we want to say use collisions, and we want to get rid of this, or I'm sorry, this stays true, it's locked, and then we want to say yes, that collides. So now that will stop those things from passing over here, and then we need to do the same thing down here by saying objects, main, cuboid, drag that down there, and then logic, true, Boolean logic, yes, and there we go. Onwards. Onwards! So you can see how the game is starting to open up and starting to introduce more things as we go. So let's get down. Oh, whoops. Alright, so we got to stop that from being a thing. So now we're going to have to combine multiple, you can see it's pushing all that through there. We got to combine multiple problems here. So first of all, we're going to say objects and main, and this is a cuboid. We want to translate. Then we want to say vectors. We want to translate it along the x, positive x. So we'll put that up here. Because what we want to do is we want to move this over so that it stops these things from coming through. And then we got to make collisions true on it so that it actually stops things. So we're going to do that, and then we're going to put a number down here. We'll say 20. That sounds good enough to me. Alright, and if I close out of this just for a second, you can see it moved it over there now. Alright, and this will retain the properties that I did. So there's that. And now, what we want to do is we want to say this cuboid comes down to here as well. So now it's broken into two. And then I want to change this false to a true, like that. And now that should stop all those things from passing through there. And now I can walk through here without getting hit with all the glass shards. So there you go. Like I said, does a very good job of introducing the mechanics. It just, at first, when you first jump in here, at least for me anyway, since I'm used to like actually writing text to program, it was very obtuse. I'm like, I don't quite understand what's going on here. And then once I got to this point, I was like, okay, now I see what they're doing. I see where they're going with all this. And of course, we got this here, which can lift us up to that point, which is what we want. But things passing through here are becoming non-solid. As you can see, they start out solid and then they change. So we got to change another property of this guy. Physics use collisions. So we want to say this. So he says colliding. And this is a sort of a flag or a property that says, hey, you're colliding with something. And the things that you're colliding with, you should manipulate. So what we're saying is manipulate it by setting use collisions to true. What we're saying is manipulate the physics of things going through, passing through you, colliding with you. Manipulate the physics of those objects to make them solid. And again, it's very obtuse when you think about it, but once you do it right successfully and you start to understand what they're going for, it makes sense. So now I should be able to jump on top of this. Whoops. I should be able to wait and then jump when it comes through there. There we go. And now we can come up to this level. Now, actually, is this the level? Yeah, this is the level I was talking about a little bit earlier. So we come up here. I'm glad I made it to this. I'm trying to go through this as fast as I can. So now you can see we're manipulating solids and what's solid and what isn't. So first of all, we want these to be solid because we want to go that away. So I'm going to right click on this guy, which gives me an empty grid. I'm going to say objects colliding, and then we'll say, which is a property of it, and then we'll say physics, use collisions, and then logic true, because we want these things passing through it to be to allow for collisions, and do that. All right, so that is working for us right now. So those are solid, but, and here's where things get a little weird. If I can jump up on here possibly, You see now, let's try this again. You see how they're getting solid, but then they're going over there and sort of just hitting that wall and disappearing. That's not going to do us any good because there's nothing over there. Now, when I first did this, I looked at this and I went, well, there's a whole big space over there. So I could just take these guys and translate them that way and then ride that over. Well, that's not the correct way. Let's put it that way, because eventually those things go over there. It works, but those things go over there and then they disappear and then you just fall down to your death. So you're looking around here like, well, where do I go? Do I go over there? Well, no, you don't go over there. You definitely don't go there because that's the destroyer of things. So where do you go next? Well, turns out you go up there. It does not really make itself known, but you can see there's a hole there, and that's actually steps. It took me a while sitting here like, where do I go next? And this is what I was talking about. I was like, there needs to be some indication that you need to go up there, like whether it's an arrow or if it's something a little bit more subtle, something that draws your eye up there, like maybe a line of lights or something, or a different color or whatever. I mean, they're trying to do it with this, having this stuff go up there, but that doesn't stand out enough. You need something else that's like, hey, dummy, look up here. This is where you need to go. So that's another sort of piece of feedback I have. So if I right click on this guy, we got to do two things here. We got to, first of all, we're going to tell this guy what it is. So we want colliding. And then we want a, whoops, that's not what I want. I want transform, translate. There we go. And so any cubes that collide with it, we want to translate them. So we want to do a vector, and we want to translate them upwards, which is positive y. So we want to do a long y. And then we'll come over here, we'll just select the number. There is no rhyme or reason to what number works. You just gotta kind of eyeball it. So I'm just gonna say 100, and then we'll just say this, and we'll put all these things together, and grab. I want to grab that arrow. That's what I want to do. Come on, give me that arrow, please. And there we go. And now if I close out of this, we'll see where that puts them. And that puts them way too high. Way too high. Alright, so we'll get rid of 100 here, and we'll switch that to, say, 50. That should be good. Try that. And that should be good. Yeah, that looks like that will be the correct way. So then we'll just jump on over to one of these guys, and we'll ride it up. You see, it translated me up here, and here's the stairs where we needed to be. So I'll just jump over here before those things disappear. You see, they just go into that little segment there and then go disappearing. They had a little bleed through there on things too. Alright, and then we're over here, and it's like, well, where do I go now? Well, you can right click on this, and it doesn't really tell you anything, but I'm assuming once I click on objects here, colliding, it's colliding. The object is currently colliding with the player, so they're introducing a new concept here. And we'll say physics use collisions. So whenever this object is colliding with the player, we want to allow the player. Oops, that's not right. We want to allow the player to pass through it by setting use collisions to false, and only the player will be able to pass through it. So we'll do that. And now I fall. And you can see where I'm at now. Okay. So now we're down here. And I guess the only thing we can do is ride this up. So let's do that and see where it leads us. Now we're getting to the interesting part, because this is where things require a little bit of timing, a little bit of speed, I should say. That is if you want to do it without dying. But you're not penalized really that much for dying, because you are penalized for not being able to make simple jumps, though. Because whenever you right click on something, as soon as you start putting stuff in the grid, it will save what you've put into the grid. So here's what I'm talking about right there. Now I'm far enough away from this that I can manipulate, or I'm close enough to this that I can manipulate it. But later on, we're going to get to a point where you're not close enough to do that, and you got to kind of ride something, and as you're riding it, you need to then manipulate it as soon as you can and try to keep yourself from falling to your death, which often doesn't work because it takes a long time to do that. Alright, so we're saying use collisions false on this guy, which is correct. Colliding with the cube, and basically, so that's turning those things to empty. We don't want that. We want that to keep them... We want that to keep things that collide with it to keep using physics so that we don't fall through once we pass through that. So that's what we're going to do right now. So now when we pass through this, this should stay solid instead of becoming invisible. Excellent. And now we can jump on off, and we're good. Sweet. Now we get on up here with the epic score playing in the background. And you'll get to see another turn of this. This is, right after this is about as far as I've gotten in the game, so... So I don't know what much else is coming besides this. But you can see up here, there's another little red area to be manipulated, but we're too far away to do it because our cube is not turning red. Not far enough away for that one, but that's not going to help us. That's where we came from. So we need to fall down on here, and then as soon as this becomes red, we need to manipulate it, and you'll see how ridiculous this is. Alright, so we need to translate this to get it out of our way, and we're not going to do it fast enough, unfortunately, but we got that because we need numbers on there, and then we got to go do it again. Like I said, that's not the most... I get where they're going, but it's not the most fun mechanic you ever did see. So we'll translate that along Y, if I can drag this over fast enough. There we go. And that's done. So we move that out of our way, and now we can jump over here. And we are almost to the portal. So these guys are falling up here, so let's go up this way. And jump on over. Sweet. And now where do we go? We gotta go up there, it looks like. Or, I'm sorry, we gotta jump on these. So let's do that. And we got another one. As I've said before, this one's moving back and forth. We are too far away right now to do anything about it. Now I could possibly run away from it and jump back there, but that's not quite so easy for me to do. So logic, that's not what we want. Like, let's see if I can do that right now. Nope, it's not that easy to do that. These are far enough away that you can't really do it. So what we need to do is get this guy to stop being in our way. So we're probably going to have to translate him away, or actually I think we might have to make him use collisions as no. So objects, colliding, you see it gave me multiple choices there. Physics, use collisions, and logic, false. So get those on there at least. Alright. And now all we have to do is drag them together. Like I said, not a fan of that. If you're going to do something like this, you got to give us a way that's easy to do that quickly. Otherwise, it just gets to be annoying after a while. So, and all this dragging and dropping with all this grid, it just doesn't lend itself too well to that. But there we go. Use collisions. False. So when we collide with it, that didn't work. What did I do wrong there? What did I do wrong there? I'm not sure what I did wrong there. False. Use collisions. False. Colliding. Objects. What did I do wrong? I guess I see. Alright, so it's not collisions then, it's... Oops, that's not gonna work. Let's try that again. So it's not collisions, it's the other object then, I guess, is what I need to do there. Let's try that when it comes up here. There we go, let's get rid of that, and let's drag this guy over and see if that works. Yeah, that works. Alright, that's strange. So now it's completely invisible to everything. Don't know why the colliding didn't work, but I guess it was the object shape is not correct for the colliding flag. I don't know. But there you go. There's that. And we can come up to the next portal. And this is as far as I got when I last played it. So all this stuff is new to me now. So let's see what we've got to do. Whoa! Oh! Okay. Okay. What? Okay. So we've got things that bounce, and it's not going to tell me what those things are. I guess it's going to introduce them up here, maybe. Let's see where this goes. Okay. And I guess this bounces me up, huh? Okay, so we'll move this around a little bit, and we'll say objects, main. So cuboid, what is this? Apply force to cuboid physics along Y. So I can say how much force it should apply. We'll say 500, I guess. Send me into the stratosphere. Alright, and then let's jump on it. Or, okay, that didn't work. What am I missing here? Cuboid, apply force physics along Y. Did I miss something here? Objects. Oh, to a colliding one? Do I have to say it's a colliding guy? Instead of that? I wonder if that's what I have to do. Might be it. Okay, so that only works with things that are colliding. Alright, well that kind of makes sense, I guess. Kinda. Like I said, it's a little bit of trial and error, and sometimes it's not quite clear how certain things are supposed to work yet. But it is still early alpha, and it's early access on Steam, so, you know, this is I'm showing you what's there now, and whether or not you can make your decision whether or not you want to get involved in it yet, or you want to wait for it to be a little bit more cooked in the oven. Alright, what do we got on this guy? Colliding objects along X. Okay. So this should shove me along X, maybe? Physics. Apply force. Let's see what apply force does. Oh, that's what it was doing before, right? It just, like, knocks me along X. So we'll say numbers, we'll say 50, I guess. That seems like enough. Okay. So that should shove me that way. Right. Oh. Oh, there's a stream there. Okay, I gotta time my jump to not coalesce with that stream. So, oh, there's a thing that, oh, okay, I see. There's a block that comes by and temporarily blocks it. So I gotta time this right. Oh, and that 50 was not enough. Okay. So we'll click on this and we'll say numbers and we'll say 100. That should work. There we go. And one of those came through. Yep, there we go. That launched me. Where is this going to launch me to? I guess I gotta go that way. Possibly. 100 vector. Okay, so this is probably still the same thing. So we'll say physics, apply force. And we'll say objects colliding. There. And there. Alright. And see what happens. That launches me out into the nether there. Is there... Oh, there's an object over there I gotta manipulate? How would I even do that? Objects colliding. That's all I can do with this guy. How would I need something to stop me from going too far. Not sure how I would do that. Let's try this and jump. Nope, that doesn't work. Oh, you know what? Can I do X and Y on that? Can I say, like, I want you to do both of these? No, it's those are locked. Okay. Huh. Oh, but I can do numbers. Hang on, let me do let's do 50 up and do Y. on that? Yeah, there we go. So this should knock me 150 up, right? Okay. Okay, so we need to go... 50 wasn't quite enough. Let's try numbers. Let's try 100 up that way. And see what that does for me. There we go. Yep. Alright, I figured it out. Combining all the things, and you can see how it's doing stuff. And then what do we gotta do here? We got that blocking that, so we gotta have this guy translate to stop that, I bet. Use collisions. So if I say objects main, right? Cuboid use collisions. Then, well, actually, I want to, let's cut that for a second. I want to do, oh, I can't. Alright, use collisions. Logic. True? No, I don't want to manipulate that because that's actually stopping this flow here, right? Oh, no. Yes, I do want that because I want that to make those things solid. No, I did the wrong one. Let's do objects colliding. There we go. Yes, that's what I want because that will temporarily stop those from being from falling down. And then I gotta time my jump here. So we want this guy to objects colliding to apply force. And then this is a number that we don't know yet. So we'll say vectors. We want to go along. We don't want to go along x. We want to go along negative x. I wonder how. I guess we got to do along x then. I guess this is going to be a negative number. Maybe. Take something else though. Oh, you know what? I bet this is change the sign. I bet that's what it probably is. So say 100, and we'll put it into this. Yes, it makes it negative. So it's a math block. Okay, I got it. All right, so then we gotta time this. So we go right now. Yep. Whoa, that really that really knocked me all the way down there. Okay, so there you go. I was wondering how they were going to handle negative x and negative y, but that's how they're doing it with the math. Being able to make a number negative, turn it from positive to a negative. Alright, well, I think I don't know where else to go from here. Where's this? It leads nowhere. Oh, we gotta go this way. Alright. I guess, should we go over there? Oh, let's see what this does. So colliding and vector. So we need physics, apply force. So we'll put this there. We'll put this there, and then we need something here. That's negative. We need numbers. So we'll say 20 maybe. And make it go on both. Or actually, let's do like that. Oh, it's multiply. Okay, so that's new math. So it multiplied it by 400? or made it 400, I guess. Alright, oh, 20 times 20 is 400. I got it. Alright, so hopefully that will work. Whoa, that was a lot. Okay, so we don't need 20 on that. Let's try something a little less than that. Let's try 10 and go like so. That might not be enough either. Let's try it. No, that was definitely needed 20. Definitely need 20 on that. But we need it to take up all the vectors. Yeah. And then we'll do this 20, go like that. There we go. Let's see how this works. Nope, that was the wrong vector. Oh, I know. I know what to do. I gotta use the math for that. As I fall through the world. There we go. Eventually fall through the world. Alright, let's cut that one. So we got 20 for these. Right, and then we need, let's do math negative. Right, put the negative here. We'll put this guy through the negative. And we'll do negative 400 for the X, because that's in the negative direction. Alright. Alright, this should work, hopefully. Well, bam, it does. Whoa, it really does. Okay. Let me land on solid ground. Thank you. Excellent. Very good. So, like I said, you can see how this is going. I think I've probably shown you quite a bit of the game. This is still, as I said, in early alpha. It is called Glitchspace, and it is on Steam Early Access. There's two modes in this right now. There's a sandbox mode, and then the mode that I'm in right now, which is kind of like a story mode, I guess. For the Alpha 2.0, there's also another menu item that says R&D, which I think is, I mean, it just dropped me right into another map. So I think maybe that map was just like a testing map. I don't know if that's going to be the thing that is going to be in later versions, if that's just, you know, they're just testing things out or whatever, what have you. But yeah, this is I think this has been a good show for you. I don't want to make this too long a video, but this has been Glitchspace. Thanks so much for watching, everybody, and I will see you next time.